Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Mike Overstreet here. I'm recording this for the science team and for the science festival. I'm a computer programmer and roboticist. I'm kind of demo and show off my robots today. I wish I could be at the science festival, but unfortunately, because of events and the pandemic, COVID-19, I'm not going to be able to come this year. Hopefully next year I'll be able to be there in person. So if you enjoy this talk and interested in talking to me or asking me more about robotics, hopefully I'll be there next year to talk about it. So let me kind of give you a little bit of background on myself. I've actually started robotics for a real long time now. When I was in school in the US, we have robot competitions in school. And I started in Lego League, Lego Challenge, Lego events, and then I did some VEX. And then when I got in high school, I did first, I think for all 4 years. And then when I got out of high school, when I had time, when I went to college, I've done mentoring the first teams. So I got so I was involved early in robotics. So when I went to college, I got a degree in computer science and got a job in programming. So I mentored first teams. And then I got really heavily involved in robotics starting in 2005 when I went to an event called Robo Games in San Mateo, California. And I started going there in 2005 and went there until it stopped in 2008. I won multiple awards with my humanoid robots and Kung Fu and demo and stair climbing and sumo and other events. So through Robo Games, I met a lot of people in robotics and started getting some jobs here and there and helping development and support the beta testing for robotics. So you can see one of the robots that I work with, Snow back here, is a service robot that I've worked on software and so on for. So that's kind of how I got started, and I continued working on robotics. So I really think that robotics is going to become really big all over the world. I mean, there's great examples even in the US, but there's also a lot of great examples in Korea of how service robots, delivery robots, helper robots are becoming more and more important. The pandemic and COVID-19 is a great example of how robots can help, because robots like Snow, she can't get COVID-19. She can't get the virus on her skin, but that's really easy to clean. So between visits to people, you can disinfect her real quick with UV light or just spray disinfectants. And same thing with robot delivery robots. They can deliver food to people, or like a hotel. In the hotels, you'll see robots that can deliver food and supplies to people in individual rooms, so you don't have that person-to-person contact and use of PPEs. So I really think robotics is just beginning taking off on that. So I'm a big visual person, so let me show you a couple of videos I think that can kind of show you where robotics is going and some of the stuff that I've been using. So I'm going to share my screen real fast here. Oops. Sorry. So this is a really cool example of, you can see this is at the Seoul airport, and this robot, I actually met this robot when I was in Korea last year for the science festival, but I think this is a great example of how robots can help. So this is like a concierge robot, an informational robot, a mobile kiosk robot. And you can see what I've done is I've asked it to take me to, I think it's the bathroom, and it's actually going to be able to autonomously navigate to the bathroom based on my request. And it's using a LiDAR sensor and distance sensors to avoid people and to navigate through SLAM and localization. So I mean, don't worry about having to learn all what's going on. Just remember, this is an autonomous robot, a kiosk robot, and like I said, this is at the Seoul Airport. This is a great example of the things going on in robotics right now. Just think about if this is in a hotel or a place of business, or like the airport example. You don't have to worry about getting COVID-19 from the robot. And like I said, it saves on PPEs. And this is kind of a long video, so we don't have to watch all of it. Another great example, I think, of robotics and how robotics are going to be more and more used. This is at a restaurant, and this is a waitress robot called Amy. And I've done some work on this robot as far as developing it, preparing it, series and selling this robot. So this is not a very sophisticated robot, but you can use autonomous navigation to go from the kitchen area to the individual tables. So I think this is another great example of robots you're going to see. I know in Korea there's a few coffee shops in Korea where you have delivery robots similar to Amy. You order your coffee online through an app, and then the robot will bring the coffee to your table, and then she'll go back once you serve. So I think this is another great. So this also is using a SLAM and localization and a LiDAR sensor, is basically a laser sensor to map out the restaurant, and then the sensor then figures out where the robot is through software and navigates to and from waypoints set up for it. So you're going to see this more and more. Like I said, there's actually a couple coffee shops in Korea that are already doing this. I think this is another great example of, this is a South Korean company, Robotics. This is actually an outdoor delivery robot, and in larger cities like Seoul, you're going to see these more and more. So this robot is using GPS, LiDAR sensors, vision sensors. All this is really cool technology that's pretty well developed. And so this robot basically is tasked to go into Subway. Actually, it's Quiznos, sorry. Going to Quiznos. As you can see, it can do autonomous navigation. It knows when the light's green or red. And it's going to Quiznos. And as you can see, what the great thing about this is that the people preparing the food can prepare the food, put the food into the robot, and then deliver the food autonomously to the customer. And in today, when you have to like shut things down and quarantine stuff, or you don't want to have a lot of contact between people, this is another great example of how robotics can help us, not today and in the future. And stuff like this is easy to work on, already well developed, as you can see. I just don't hit your head on the lid. So this Robotics is a South Korean company. And then my final example of kind of some of the stuff going on and stuff I'm working on in robotics is this is my robot Snow here in the center of the screen. And this can show you how I've been working on avoidance software, driving software, autonomous navigation software for her. And this is at a school. This is pre-COVID-19. And as you can see, she's doing a really good job of avoiding people and trying to go to her desired destination that I clicked on her to do in the map. kids actually kind of liked her. She's like a little kid that they would play with. But she's trying her best to navigate to a waypoint and avoid running into people. So this technology is pretty advanced now, as you can see. And with just a little work and fine tuning, I've got her to the point where she is not 100%, but 99% good at avoiding people and getting to where she needs to go. I think this is a great example. She's a little confused because the kid's where she wants to go, but so instead of running over the guy, she just stops. This may be more just kind of give you an idea of what she's doing. So this is another example of her autonomously moving from point to point, and she's using a LiDAR sensor in her base. And I thought I should have shown the screen here. Sorry. So when I'm saying LiDAR, SLAM, the localization, this is basically a map of the environment she's in, and you can see this is where the LiDAR sensor is pointing at, and you see people and so on. And so this is kind of showing you that she makes a map of the environment she's in, and then she can go from location to location preset based on the information and feedback from the LiDAR sensor after she creates the map. And this is what I mean by SLAM, the localization. So once she figures out where she is and where her waypoint or destination point is, then she autonomously navigates from point A to point B. As you kind of see there. Pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. But that's kind of some of the stuff I'm working on, making robots autonomous. And like I said, with the pandemic and COVID-19, there's a lot of opportunities for robotics and using robotics to help social distancing and limited use of PPEs and so on. It's cool. So kind of another thing I wanted to talk about. So kind of give you kind of examples of how robotics are being used now and in the future and kind of stuff I'm working on. So if you're in high school or college and interested in getting robotics, there's not exactly a bachelor's degree in robotics, but I would definitely encourage you to work on your math skills, and then when you get into college, do something in engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, even computer programming, which I've done, because to get the robot to do what it needs to do, you've got to program it. Python is a programming language a lot of people are using, and then there's ROS, robotic operating system, stuff you can think about. As far as South Korea, I don't know if you have FIRST, but I'm sure you have some robot competitions and stuff you can do in high school and college. There's RoboCup and other things in college. And then once you get like a bachelor's degree in computer programming or engineering or science, or you can even do something like CAD design software, 3D software design, stuff like that. Then you get your bachelor's. A lot of people do bachelor's in robotics, and then master's degree in robotics, and then a doctorate in robotics specialization. I think there'll be some other people who both in the academic community, they can talk more about that than I can. That you can listen to through the science team and through the fair. So I kind of showed you some videos. I can't really drive snow around because my work area, which is now my house, is kind of limited. So, but I can show you some skills that are pretty easy to do. So when you're get some like robot educational kits or stuff that you can work on, there's a lot of great examples out there that you can jump into. DF Robot that I have, and some humanoid robots I have from Robotics and Robocin. So real quick, I can show you, as you can see in the screen, the other screen, my line following robot. So I kind of turned it on. Excuse me here while I go and turn it on. So one of the big skills that the robots are going to need to do now and in the future is autonomous navigation. And one of the easy things you can do is you can lay out tape or stuff on the floor of a business or a restaurant, and then you can have the robots navigate through the restaurant or place of business using simple techniques like line following, like this robot is doing. This is not really hard to do. And if you have any experience, oh, it went a little off. If you have any experience in if you have any experience with Lego robots or Vex robots, you can easily do line following, learn how to do line following. So let me show off another one of my robots. Sorry, it's taking a little bit here. Hello, humanity. I'm Interstellar Agent G9. So this is a little bit more of a fun robot, but you can also program this robot using Scratch and Python. Kind of get started in the field of robotics. The cool thing about this guy is he's a transforming robot. It might be hard to see, but when it pops up, he has a little app. So he's connected through Bluetooth with his app. So I'll show off. It actually can walk. He's pretty cool. Like I said, you can program this using Scratch or Python. Also, he has a really cool programming environment. Basically, it's a GUI where you can take a 3D representation of the robot and then move it around and build moves that way. Yeah. So I like showing this robot off because he's cool and he's fun. But there is some practical applications for a robot like this, because if you think about it, a humanoid robot maybe not the ideal solution to everything. A wheeled or a track robot might be more beneficial in certain areas and certain environments. And then think once it gets near a house or a place where it can walk on just two legs, then it can transform back and forth depending on the terrain and what it needs to do. So this is something like, so when you're getting involved in robotics, especially in high school or younger, there's lots of really cool kits out there, like I said, the line following and this transforming robot. So one of the things I do, and I kind of share this with you through real quick, is that I've been involved in 3D printing for a while now. And the reason why I bring it up is there are also a lot of opportunities in 3D printing. And one of the things I've done, it may be kind of hard to see, but this humanoid robot, very similar to the Robotin that I was showing off. He can walk and play soccer and so on. All these gray parts right here are not injected molded plastic. They're actually 3D printed parts. And as you can see in the other screen, that's one of my 3D printers. It's a Prusa 3D printer. You've probably seen 3D printers in action already. And if not, just go online and type in 3D printers. You can see them going. But one of the things that I like to do is kind of two of my favorite pastimes or hobbies are robotics and 3D printing. So I've kind of joined those two hobbies together and worked on 3D printing out parts for my robots. And like I said, this is a great example of what I've done. Like I said, the gray parts are all 3D printed. And the great thing about 3D printing is that if you have done anything in robotics, it's either injected molded plastic or metal parts. And sometimes with injected molded plastic and metal parts, you're kind of limited in your designs and how you do things. And the cool thing about 3D printing is you can have more organic shapes, more natural shapes, more curved, more rounded shapes. And then you can also make different parts, flexible plastics, rigid plastics. You can also have plastics that are stronger, that have metal infused or carbon fiber infused to make stronger parts or weaker parts or whatever. So it gives you the ability to kind of adapt and change and do kind of different things in robotics. So I kind of like to show that off and kind of things I'm doing. This is not quite robotics, but one of the cool things with the pandemic is that there was limited supplies of PPEs. So I was able to make my own face shields. As you can see, this is 3D printed on my Prusa, and this is actually just plastic sheets, and I was able to make my own face mask. So when face masks and PPEs were in short supply, I could make my own and then wear them when I was outside. Like I said, another great example. I was able, when face masks were in short supply, I was actually able to make my own face mask. It's not a great, but it's better than nothing. So I was able to make my own. And the cool thing is, because I was already into 3D printing and 3D printing design, I was able to, there's a couple websites where you share designs back and forth. I was able to download them and modify them for my face, my size and face and everything, and then 3D print them out. So, so I was able to use my 3D printing hobby in PPEs. So I made PPEs for local doctors and friends, face masks and shields. And like I said, robotics is an awesome opportunity for people, like I showed you in the videos and so on, to help with the pandemic issues. for now. And of course, you can play. I was able to 3D print out a baby Yoda, so you can make toys and so on for yourself. But I would definitely encourage you, if you're interested in robotics, that you know, find yourself a kit that you like. Basically, try to, like, there's like the microbit and the Raspberry Pi and the Arduino are good examples. So the great thing about this is actually a microbit. It's you program it in Scratch and or Python, and of course you got the Lego bricks, and like I said, the Arduino and the Raspberry Pi are great places to start in robotics. Yeah, and so that's kind of have most of what I have to share. Like I said, once these videos get posted, you can, you know, send the science team or me questions about robotics or how to get into robotics, or if there's something more information you need to know, just contact us. Hopefully next year, this pandemic will be over, and then I can visit Korea and you can meet in person and talk about robotics. I think it's a really cool subject. It's something that if you're really interested in getting into, I think there's lots of really cool job opportunities now and in the future. And so, like I said, work on your math skills. Try to Python. Like I said, Python is a great place to start. And that's pretty much it. And I hope, like I said, I hope to see everybody next year. And thanks for watching this video. I had fun. Thank you.